I hope you're doing well, and today we have a quick video on my thoughts on modifiers. So I think this is a pretty important video to make right now, just because modifiers, the maps just changed. I'll make kind of more specific, detailed videos later about exactly how to play each map, because I feel like I've had a lot of experience pushing on a lot of different maps, and specifically the new ones. I'm gonna try to do 2 pushes this week, Pro and B, and I'm gonna do this on a variety of different maps. So I hope to be able to get a lot more experience on the new maps so that I can present it to you guys, and maybe help you guys be able to push a little bit better on these maps. But today we're not going to talk about the new maps. We're instead going to talk about modifiers. In actually 13 out of the 14 Showdown maps, there are modifiers on. I think the only map that there isn't a modifier on is Cavern Churn, and I think that's definitely a good decision. Cavern Churn, it's a more tank orientated map because there is a lot of grass, and I think definitely not changing that, the design of the map is a good decision. So I definitely think having no modifier on that map is the right call. But today I'm going to be ranking down from from 5th place, basically my most disliked modifier, and to 1st place, which is basically the modifier that I like the most. And I think in my opinion, it's just the modifier that keeps the point of the map. I think maps are designed for different brawlers. So the Showdown modifier that upholds this this goal. So starting from 5th place, so the modifier that I think either needs to be reworked or removed, honestly, even, is energy drink. I think a lot of the times energy drink is the most random mode, just because a team with 7 power-ups could lose to a 2 power-up team. Literally, if the 2 power-up team gets lucky with a energy drink spawn, it just doesn't really make sense that that skill is being tested by luck. I think especially because a lot of people in high trophies go crow on energy maps. It just if a crow literally jumps on you, or even a sprout with energy is extraordinarily deadly. So if any of those go on you, there's often no hope. Crow with gadget, with his first gadget actually, and with even 2 power-ups, but with energy drink can really end basically any team out there if they jump on you. Get a good jump on you. I think what I try to do on energy maps is I actually just try to either camp an energy, or just keep farming energy, so going from one energy spawn to the other energy spawn. I pushed a little bit on energy maps in my Gene Brock, so my 1250 Brock videos, if you want to see how I play energy maps. But keep in mind, this is quite a old map, so not one of the recent maps. But I think the way I played on a energy map is worth paying attention to. I think if you can't try to farm or camp an energy, what you need to do is play a very ranged comp so that people with energy can't get close to. Obviously, if a crow jumps on you, there's nothing you can do. You're gonna die. But if you keep your range, you might have a chance of pushing them back enough, because obviously they still have the same amount of health, so they still might feel vulnerable and back off from your team. That's really one of the only things you can do on energy maps. I just don't really appreciate the skill in that, and specifically for high trophy pushing, it's not really good that a mode can be so inconsistent. So the next modifier, so my 4th favorite or 2nd unfavorite map is Meteor mode. So obviously you might think, obviously when I say least impactful, you might think the next one would be Robo, but I actually think Meteor is more impactful to the design of the map, in that Meteor, in a lot of circumstances, it changes the comp design of the map, so that on a lot of the walled maps. So right now there are a lot of walled maps with Meteor on it, and like a lot of the walled maps, which should be good for tanks, are being given Meteor so that ranged characters can be good on that. So it kind of ruins the purpose of the map, but it's like, I don't hate it in that I can push ranged characters on that map, so it makes pushing ranged characters a little bit easier. But I think right now, especially, pushing tanks is a little bit harder because of Meteor. It just ruins a lot of the really good tank maps that have a lot of walls or grass on them. I think that's why I really like how Cavern Churn, how there's no modifier on Cavern Churn, because before, with Meteor on Cavern Churn, like, you couldn't really push like a Bull or Primo on that map, but now it makes pushing those brawlers a little bit easier. And so for my third favorite mode, it's actually Robo. So the reason I like Robo is because, like, there's a actual strategy. I think obviously though, like Robo, you can say it's more impactful than Meteor. I think Robo, like, it's fun, like, it's more fun because there's a strategy, and if you can, like, it's basically like you have to rush really fast at the boss so that you can kind of keep consistently taking Robo and getting basically fed by the Robo. I think, like, when I was pushing Darrow, we were averaging 15-20 power-ups a game, just because it was so easy to kind of rush it up, and Darrow does so much damage to the Robo that you can basically solo the Robo, so that makes it kind of really fun that there's a strategy and you can actually be really consistent on Robo maps. But kind of one of the reasons I hate kind of Robo, I think it's really just started to develop now, is because Robo often is kind of occurs on a lot of the ranged maps. I think this after the map rotation, Robo occurs on 2000 Lakes, and also it occurs on Will of the Wisps, which are two kind of really good ranged maps if there wasn't Robo, so you could push like Piper or Bee on the map. But unfortunately you can't do that because there's Robo, so kind of changes up the teams a little bit. I still think kind of there's still a lot of ranged characters that you can use, like Max. I think Max is definitely one of the top options on the map now, because it's like ranged, and also it's Max does a lot of damage, but I think it kind of ruins. I think like on 1000 Lakes it should be good for like Piper or Bee, but it just makes those brawlers harder to push, which I don't think was the purpose of 1000 Lakes. But like, I still like Robo because there's obviously a strategy with the mode. And so for my second favorite mode, it's Heal. So Heal is kind of probably the least impactful of all the modes, and that's really why I like the mode. I've pushed up several brawlers on Heal, and like when I play, I just often notice that like it just feels like a no modifier mode. There's no like robot or something that can ruin your experience. There's no energy drink that for a crow to jump on you. It's just maybe the most annoying thing that might happen is if you shoot someone and they don't die and they can heal up to full in a healing kind of bubble. That's probably the most like the worst thing that can happen, the most random thing that can happen, and obviously that's that doesn't feel good, but you like it's just a lot less impactful. And often Heal, I usually have Heal actually heal myself, because I usually play a little bit more aggressive on the Heal, especially when I see a bubble, which I can get back to, because I know I can kind of survive and heal up from like a crow poison or something in the bubble. But yeah, like, you can obviously argue that Heal is impactful, but I don't think it changes kind of the brawler selection that a map is usually designed for. So kind of in conclusion, so for my final notes, I think modifiers often change the purpose of the maps, and that's kind of one of the reasons I don't really like modifiers. And I think there also should be more than one modifier, kind of non-modifier map. Actually, if you were wondering, it was kind of a joke, but my favorite modifier is no modifier. because that's literally makes the map like exactly what it was designed for. Like if it's a tank map, then it's a tank map without modifiers. If it's a ranged map, it's a ranged map without modifiers. It just kind of, there's a lot more strategy. Like if you get like 6 power-ups, you win. Usually if you can take out like 3 teams, you win because you have enough power-ups, and I think that's just what the map was designed for, and I just have a lot more fun on those maps. But yeah, like I just think I think there should be more than one non-modifier map a season. I think at least there should be 3 or 4. I think there actually should be more non-modifier maps than modifier maps, because like like I just think it should be this way because I think it just allows a Showdown map to be what it's supposed to be, the best. Obviously, kind of another question people might have is, should there be a option to have a non-modifier or modifier? So for a specific Showdown map, should you be able to pick for you to play in a modifier or non-modifier map? And I kind of think there shouldn't be. There should just be the option that they give you. Part of it is just, I think if there is a modifier, non-modifier option, I think it's just going to divide the Showdown community so that less people will be in your game, so matchmaking is going to take a little bit longer. And this is a specific problem, especially if you're pushing at a high trophy range, when you really need matchmaking to be a little bit shorter, because then it's just going to be a little bit harder to push. But anyways, I digress. I've already stretched out this video enough, so I hope you learned something or enjoyed my video, and I hope to see you next time. I'll definitely try to upload a little bit more nowadays. I'm gonna try to take a break after this season from pushing rank 35s and focusing a lot more on making tips and tricks videos from the different maps, just to help you with a little bit more if you are planning on pushing in duels or solo Showdown. So thank you, and I hope you have a great day.